was pretty good, huh?
So, yeah. Oh, it was great.
But the chicken paired perfectly with it. You did such a good job.
Yeah, feta plus strawberries. Oh my gosh.
So good, right?
Amazing stuff, really.
Yeah. But also the chicken just like really was correct for it.
You can do another salad tonight.
Yeah, we can redo whatever. We have plenty of stuff to make whatever we want to make.
I mean, if I find some time this morning, I'll get avocados for us. Do you want anything else for the salad?
Yeah, let me think about it.
Okay. Get some thought.
I will. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. How are we all feeling? Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Oh, you know, I don't know if I've ever sang that to the baby yet. I should probably start singing that to her every morning. The good morning song? I should definitely sing that to her.
Do they know what her favorite songs are so far?
Not yet, but we could play that for them. But I do think that the baby will like the good morning song. I think most kids like the good morning song.
Especially singing voice.
It's what we do. It's funny, Anya, because now you're... Hey, Liv. Liv, you're not usually in book club. Welcome to book club. Now your profile picture looks like another friend of mine's profile picture when it's small. Like up close, I'm sure it's different, but like from this vantage point, it looks different. So it's funny because at first I was like, wait a second. And then I was like, no, it's Anya. No, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. No, not a problem. Morning, you're just saying hi. But the book is so good. Don't you want to hang out with us and listen to books? Hey, Lauren, how's it going over there at your job? Yeesh. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. We dance the whole night through. Good morning, my darling, to you. What shall I do? Good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning, my darling, to you. When the band began to play, the stars were shining bright. That's fair, Liv. That's totally fair. Now the milkman on his way. Oh, that's good, Lauren. It's too late to say goodnight. So good morning, good morning. Sunbeams will soon smile through. They're already here. Good morning to you. I sent an email about my overactivated slime I got with my last drop, but I haven't heard back. Did you use the contact form on my website? The reason I'm asking is that I have responded to all current emails. No, yeah. So this is something that happens to people a lot, that maybe they don't type the email in correctly, or actually the second thing that happens is if you did use the contact form, you may not have typed your email in correctly, because I get bounce backs from people a lot. So with the last restock, I actually got 4 people who emailed me questions, and they bounced back because they didn't type in their email address correctly, so I got a bounce back from them. So you might have been one of those people that I replied to, but it bounced back to me. So try just making sure that I unfortunately am not allowed to say the exact email aloud on TikTok, because they've flagged me if I say any numbers or addresses, you know what I'm talking about. I've had this happen before. So you can use the contact form. Just make sure you type in your email correctly, or if you, gosh, what's another way that you could do it? We don't need to get flagged for, no, we definitely don't need to get flagged for silly things like tea. It's so silly. It happened to me one time, a long time ago. I said it out and they were like, you can't give out personal information. I was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't. It's a business email. Like literally a public business email. It's like so fine. Everyone can have that email address. I don't care. Hey, Ray. Yeah, so was the slime that you're talking about open heart surgery is my question. Because if it was, we need to replace it. If it was not, we can fix it. It was. Okay. I had the feeling. You're not alone. It's not you. It's the slime. We had an issue with half of the batch. Something happened to half of them in shipping. It's very strange because half of them were perfect when they arrived and half of them were not. So it's not you. We just need to replace it. Not a big deal. So try emailing me one more time today and just make sure that your settings are so that I can email you back. And we'll get that taken care of today. That's not a problem at all. I am not, however, going to the post office today because I have to go to, I have a meeting this afternoon. So unfortunately, I will not be going to the post office today, but I will be going to the post office tomorrow. So it's kind of the same all in the grand scheme of things. It'll get shipped out this week regardless. Hey, Avery. I'm sorry that it didn't get to you, but there were 4. It was very strange. There were more than usual last restock that bounced back to me, and I don't know if that was a Squarespace issue or what was going on there. My finger, it hurts. But we can get it taken care of. But wait, keep it my original. Oh, really? Well, what did you do to it, Ray? Let's hear what you did to fix it. Because it only happened to half the people, and I've been trying to help, and some people were able to fix theirs, some people weren't. So let's hear what you did to make it. You just let it sit. Okay, well, there's that. Of course, she should keep it anyway, but I'll replace it anyway because she should have something she could play with right now, of course. But yeah, keep it. Don't throw it away or anything like that. I never advocate for throwing a slime away unless it's totally destroyed. What I told a couple of people was to try soaking it in warm water, and that worked for half of them and not for half of them. So it's kind of a crapshoot, unfortunately. With anything that has cloud material in it, you never really know. We're having a Thanksgiving potluck for lunch today. I'm excited. Ooh, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Morning, Naisa. I'm a mashed potato girly. I love a good mashed potato. I've yet to activate it back since then. One of my favorite texture-wise. I love that. I love hearing that. That's great. Yeah. So maybe you'll end up with 2 good slimes. Honestly, mac and cheese. Oh yeah, we had some mac and cheese last night. It was really delicious. Hey, Sophie. Yeah. No, I love a good mac and cheese. Morning, Jennifer. Hey, Liz. Secret Husband, I think I've told you guys, makes really excellent mac and cheese that I'm pretty obsessed with. Cleaning out all the drawers in my room. That's a really nice feeling, actually. Don't you think? I think so. How was sugar this morning? Better than yesterday. It was 89 this morning, Nikki. Yesterday was 91, so it wasn't like bad, you know what I mean? Like, we don't like to use terms like that as far as medical stuff goes, but it wasn't like over the limit or anything. It was just high for me. I think it's because I had steak and potatoes the night before. Morning, Roxy. During my pregnancy, I used to cut off the top of men's undershirts to use as a belly cover. That's funny. That's funny. I like that. I actually have to go to my first like business thing since being visibly pregnant today, and I'm like trying to think of like what I'll wear that will like make me not look like a schlep, but also you know what I mean, it's like hard to like, a lot of my maternity shirts have cute designs, like baby designs on them, and I don't want it to be that. I don't know, we'll see. Morning, Jen. It was kind of funny though, right? For those of you who are a part of my Patreon, I'm going to that Patreon thing that I told you all about. That's true. The green shirt is that. Secret Husband actually said the same thing, right? But remember how I collected all the feedback you guys wanted me to give the Patreon developers and stuff like that? Yes, I should definitely wear the Winnie the Pooh shirt. That's today, so hopefully I'll be passing on that information to them. Let me just go give this to Secret Husband really quick. I'll be right back. Your coffee is ready, my boy. Oh. I made a funny voice and a joke as I delivered this, but you couldn't hear it, so only they got to hear it. You're welcome. I said, your coffee is ready, my lord.
I like it.
Yes, it's a good voice. It's a good voice. If it had to be delivered with a voice, why not that one? That was funny. Yeah, it was pretty good numbers. So we'll see. We'll see. I have a couple of ideas of what I will wear, but I will also pass on everybody's feedback to Patreon. I didn't have time to make coffee this morning, so I'm having a Coke instead. I haven't had soda since 1999. I think my guts would explode. Hey, listen, Jennifer, I get it. I get it. All right. How's everyone today? Are we all feeling good? There. You are in place. I have got you into place. I don't drink a lot of soda, but sometimes it's nice to say, hey, like, if you need the caffeine, you need the caffeine. You know what I mean? Like, what am I gonna, I can't be like, oh no, you can just survive without it. I wouldn't be that person. I'm not about to tell you that. I thought I was gonna have to give up coffee completely with this pregnancy, but the doctors have been like, no, you're fine. And so far, she's very healthy. I had this recliner chair in my room, and it was just taking up space. Now it's gone. Yeah, get that stuff out. Get it out. Just none of that. I had to go to caffeine free because of blood pressure when I was pregnant. Oh, really? High, Susan, because it was too high. The reason I ask is because my blood pressure is actually trends low. So that's probably why they told me that it's okay for me to keep having it, because mine tends to trend on the low side. And so they're like, get that up, get it up, get it up. I have to load Jonathan up to a work meeting in 30 minutes. I really don't want to. Yeah, I get that. I don't want to go to mine today either. I have to, but we just got to do it. We just got to do it. I think we have Roll for Slime tomorrow night, actually. I can't remember who signed up for tomorrow's. I have to make the list today. Excuse me, I have the hiccups for that, but it should be fun. We have new charms and stuff. Do you guys want to hear something? Wait, TikTok asked me to fill out a survey about the appropriateness of this live. And what did you tell them? Use your words. Having will increase blood pressure or pregnancy was rough for me, but worth it. I agree, Susan. I think that everyone has something about it that is like a thing, and then obviously in the end, it's totally worth it. So you just roll with it. But, yeah, you told them very inappropriate. Good. I'm glad you said that. My current unhappiness with the only thing that currently bothers me about this pregnancy is that she likes to kick the inside of my butthole. I don't know how many of you have dealt with that. It's uncomfortable, but it's her favorite thing to do right now. She really likes it. Yeah. I didn't know how to say that without getting flagged, but it just is what it is. I mean, it's the truth. It's the reality of pregnancy. I was put on house arrest 28 weeks. Oh my gosh, that would be me like next week. Oh, I don't know what I would do. No book listing. Yeah, I'm gonna test it without a preterm. When did you end up going into labor? Did you make it to the end? Obviously, since you said it was worth it, I assumed the baby was okay in the end, and you seem okay. My drawers are a war zone. I'm glad I can finally do it. Yeah. I got those drawer separators. I had a C-section at 30. Oh, 38's fine. 38's great. That's actually great. I was born at 38 weeks. I was fine. I'm a big sturdy human. Yeah, how else would you say it, Whitney? I don't even know how else to quantify that, but it is true, right? Like am I alone or did you all feel it? Like when you were pregnant, your baby did it too, right? It's not just my kid. I very, very rarely get that, Jennifer. Very, very rarely. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, but last night she was doing this to me a lot, and Secret Husband was like, I wonder if I can lure her away from it. And he played music at the front of my belly, and she came forward to like where the music was and got away from it. I was like, oh, thank you. That was nice. That was very nice of you. Thank you for saving my behind. Literally, all my insides were punching bags. Correct. I felt like they would kick your spine. Most babies 36 are perfectly fine. Exactly, Lauren. That's exactly right. That's when she said she made it all the way to 38 weeks. I was like, oh, you're good. 38 is is great. I mean, if mine makes it to, actually, I would prefer her to be like 38 or 39. That's what the doctor said, because of my age, they would prefer her to be born at 38 or 39 weeks. So easy peasy. Easy peasy. Awesome. So that is good. Today we are on chapter 8. Just as an FYI, yesterday and the day before's book clubs are trying to upload. They're like a little stuck because the YT app is being a little bit this week, but they are trying and they are there. So if you need to catch up, you can. I see a lot of baby associated wide range. Yeah. I think Zoe, my niece, was 38 and a half, something like that. Ethan was 39, maybe. They kept telling my mom wrong due dates. We were 4 weeks early, but like 10 pounds. You're like, it's a little sus. Between blood pressure, my age, and GD, I wasn't gonna make it to 40. Yeah, and honestly, it's probably for the best, Susan, right? Because what I've heard is, and I don't know the like science behind this, but from what I understand, the older you are, the faster the placenta ages, whatever that means. I'm reading a second book of this Dustwalker book right now, and it's adorable. What's Dustwalker? I don't know that one. Oh, Duskwalker. Would be great if I could read, wouldn't it? You were told the same thing, Susan? Okay, great. So it's not just me. I'm glad that it wasn't just me hearing that, because I was like, what does that even mean? So they were like, well, it'd be great if she could come out at 38 or 39 weeks because of that. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever you guys say, but I really don't want to get induced. I don't know. We're 27 right now, so we basically only have like 10 and change to go. It's not that long, you guys. So happy you have a great day behind the book. Need to catch up. All right, bye. See you later, Jennifer. Come the end of January, we're definitely going to be on, remember, I don't know, any of you who were here at the very beginning of book club, like way back, it was almost 2 years ago now, we were on Baby Watch when my sister was pregnant, so it'll be pretty funny. We'll be doing the same thing. You guys will know when I'm gone, when I just like don't show up for book club one day. Weirdly, the scheduled C-section was so much less. My cousin did that actually with my goddaughter. She was scheduled pretty far in advance and they got to pick her birthday, which they really love. So her birthday is a palindrome. Her birthday is 10/20/2010. Obviously a gajillion years ago, right? In the grand scheme of babies, she's a teenager now, but it's a cute birthday, right? So they got to pick it, which was really fun. 10/20/2010. All right. Hello, Sloth. Welcome on. Will that be Secret Husband? Let us know you would. Maybe, right? Wouldn't that be funny? Where will we do book club if when? That's a great question, Avery. I think that the YT app will probably be our best bet for that. We'll just do open ones for that. I don't know. We'll take a poll. That's a very valid question, and because it could be imminent, like it could be January, right? I think the thing about doing it on the YT app is that it would just upload automatically for anyone who missed it, right? Yeah, it's going to be sad. It's going to be hard for us. Like, this is the easiest community building platform. I truly stand by that, despite all of TikTok's ups and downs. Yours a palindrome too? That's so cute, Roxy. Which one is yours? But I think we'll adjust and we'll do it on there. I think it's a better system than IG, just having used all of them over the years. It makes me sad too, Naisa, but it doesn't mean that we have to stop being a book club. You know what I mean? Like, we're still here. We'll just do it in a different space, and that's okay. Yeah. Well, we don't know. I mean, maybe a miracle will happen. April 8th. Nice. That's very cute. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. I genuinely don't know. There's no way, obviously, there's no way for any of us to know. None of us are in a position to be knowing. Oh yeah, no, book club's not going to stop just because TikTok does. We just have to move. We just have to move. That's what it comes down to. Okay, but let's read. Hello. The figureheads were moving. I agree. That would be amazing. That would be amazing, Anya. It should be just around 8, maybe 8:40 for me. I don't exactly know because I can't see a clock from where I am, and the app doesn't let me see the time on the phone, but I'm assuming it's around 8:40-ish, 8:45 maybe? I don't know. It's a good question, but no idea. Okay, so anyone who wasn't here, 8:35. Oh man, I overshot. This was, we started a little bit early. Okay, all right, you guys, whatever. Just as a refresher from what happened when we left off yesterday, in case anyone does not remember, Poppy and Alex are at her cousin Sarah's engagement party on a very fancy boat thing, right? Well, this book takes place in England, and as the chapter prior was ending, Alex thought there was like a magic show happening, but really some actual magic had taken over some of the statues in the decor and they were coming to life. So that's where we're going to start right now, is when they all come to life and whatever like that. Okay. The figureheads were moving. There were dozens of them, some human, some decidedly not human. A huge golden eagle shook its wings. A terrier barked and growled. What appeared to be Abraham Lincoln straightened his shoulders and looked around in some surprise. Oh no, really, right? Oh no. Okay, so this is mad, Poppy muttered as she shoved through the crowd to get closer. Her mind raced with ideas and solutions, but who had done this and how and why? And could she stop it? As she passed a couple holding champagne glasses, they sniffed them and said something in Dutch, which Poppy almost certainly thought could translate to, what did they put in our drinks? What is going on here? Called a strident voice from the front as someone screamed. Excuse me, Poppy shoved her way to the front, vaguely aware of Alex shouldering through the crowd behind her. Right. Oh, God, what's happening? Oh, my God. Thank you, said one of the figureheads, a formal-looking gent with huge sideburns. Not to blaspheme, young lady. His painted mouth formed the shape of words. His brow was drawn down. He was made of wood, and he didn't exist below the waist, but his face was moving, and when he spoke, it was with a distinctly creaky sort of edge. Poppy began to feel, well, a little bit queasy. And, for heaven's sake, do cover up, a Victorian figurehead in a high-necked frock said. She looked at Poppy's fairly modest green dress with a sniff of disapproval. Honestly, you can't go around in just your shift. Hey, and what's wrong? Came a strident voice from above. We ain't gone around in just your stock. The figureheads all drew in a collective breath, which was even weirder considering that absolutely none of them had lungs. Some were merely just heads on sticks. Holy shit, said a voice from just behind Poppy. Alex, for some reason, his large presence was a tiny sliver of comfort to her. As Poppy looked up, she realized that Sarah and Caspar were still at the top of the stairs, behind the largest and most impressive of the figureheads. They were flattened against the back wall, and Caspar was clutching Sarah's arm. And, well, they might, because the figureheads creaked as they moved. Their gaudily painted faces turned to look at the happy couple. Oh, ha ha, well, it is a rather silly trick, Sarah said. Ha ha. Everybody don't be alarmed. It's just it's a clever kind of anima. It's a tronic. Her voice abruptly rose in a shriek as horrific splintering noise came from above, and through the glass roof they saw the figurehead attached to the bow of the ship. The bow of the ship itself wrench free and climb down to stand on the glass. This was made all the more terrifying by the fact that she did not appear to have any legs at all, just a solid wooden skirt that ended in wooden curlicues. Behind her, Poppy heard someone whimper, and someone else said, "She's fainted. This isn't funny." "Well, honestly, it really isn't," Alex said. "Poppy, what are we going to do?" Poppy was watching as the figure above them made her way awkwardly across the glass roof. The figurehead rocked from wooden point to point, the way that a child would make a solid doll walk. Only that wasn't a cute thing. This was absolutely beyond awful. The solid thuds of the figure, akin to the sound coming from the outside of a cabin in a horror film. "Aye, that'll be the fresh me," said the white figure crowning the collection inside the glass dome. She had gold trim on her white gown and both breasts were bare. In one hand, she held out something that looked like a horse's tail. "She gets the tin cover, the jammy be some. I've been chinking mine for half years." This is ridiculous. What are they saying? I mean, obviously it's meant to be a very intense Cockney accent, but they could have just told me, "Sasha, use a Cockney accent and we'll give you the real words," because I don't know what they're trying to say when it's written out like this. What's a jammy besom? I don't know. Anyway. "Please, what language is this?" said one of the Dutch relatives behind Poppy. "Out is Scots, ye scallum," scoffed the inside figurehead as one of the outside. Okay, so it's supposed to be Scottish, not Cockney. Okay, well, I'm only mildly good at that one, so you guys will just have to roll through it. "Hey, Mom, you came just in time for a whole bunch of accents, so buckle in. We're doing accent day." Scoffed inside the figurehead as one on the outside reached the sloping edge of the roof. She hopped in place for a moment before leaping off the glass structure and hobbled away. And Poppy would have followed her, but that last hop had done something to the glass roof, and now a large crack appeared in it, and a shriek came from Sarah's direction. "Sarah, you need to calm down," Poppy called to her. "Stay near the wall and come down the stairs." "We're gonna hurt them," said the figurehead inside. "Yes, no, I know you're not trying to hurt them, but the glass might," said Poppy. "Am I talking to painted wood?" she thought to herself. "Sarah, Caspar, either please come downstairs or get outside, one of the two." "Where that thing is," cried Sarah. "Sarah, please, look, she's already gone. Just go outside right now, please." I won't," cried Sarah. "This is my engagement party. You can't ruin it, Poppy." I'm not trying to ruin it," Poppy said evenly. "I'm trying to save it. In fact, why doesn't everyone go outside right now?" "Poppy, honey, what is going on?" her mother said, materializing behind her. "That lady over there has fainted." Fantastic, Poppy thought. "No, nothing's going on," said Poppy. "This is all totally planned." "No, it is not bloody planned," shouted Sarah. "It's all completely fine," said Poppy through gritted teeth. "Mom, why don't you tell everyone to go outside for some fresh air?" The crack in the glass was probably fine, but she didn't want to take any risks, and she wanted to try and fix the situation without Sarah and her mother and everyone else here interfering. It is a bit chilly out there right now, Pops," said her father. "Yeah, well, it's about to get a lot chillier in here," she thought. "Look, it really isn't all that bad. Look, we need the space to set something new up right now," she tried desperately. "Now, this is some kind of trick gone wrong," said Caspar from behind the figureheads. "Where are the staff?" Poppy glanced around, but all the wait staff appeared as horrified as the guest. One woman in a suit hurried forward. I don't know what exactly is going on," she whispered to Poppy. "Is this a flash mob? Like a stunt? Perhaps something like what they do in Love Actually?" "Sure," said Alex before Poppy could say anything. "Only it's all gone a bit wrong, so why don't you just get everyone outside for photographs?" "Well, they've already done photographs," said the woman in the suit doubtfully. Poppy took a breath and projected her will into her voice. "More photos," she said, and she raised her voice. "Everyone needs to go outside and have more photographs taken right now. Everyone outside right now." "But," Sarah began, "really? Poppy, honestly, what are you planning?" said her mother, but Poppy's temper snapped. "Everybody outside!" she shouted with the sort of force that she used against that Egyptian ghost. By my will, you will all go outside right now." The woman in the suit nodded and turned to her staff. "All right, everybody, the party's moving outside now," she said. "Everybody, please follow me outside." She needn't have told them. All the guests, including the lady who had recently fainted, began calmly walking towards the stairs, carrying their drinks and chatting as if it was just all a part of the party. "Not you," Poppy said to Alex as he began to follow them. She had a feeling someone as large as Alex might come in handy during this. Plus, well, his presence was kind of reassuring to her. He blinked at her. "What? But you said..." "You. Stay with me," she said. "Alex!" She grabbed him by the chin and made him look at her. "Stay with me." He nodded and shook himself a bit. "Right, sorry, yes. What do we do now?" His voice sounded different, Poppy thought. She couldn't quite put her finger on it. "Well," she said, pull yourself together, Poppy. You're a witch. This is magic. You can handle it," she thought to herself. But a tiny little voice underneath the pep talk whispered to her, "I am so tired of handling it." She squared her shoulders and said to the bare-breasted figurehead, "Excuse me." "I," said the figurehead. "My name's Poppy. What's your name?" "Are you really serious?" muttered Alex. "Oh, they call me Nanny," said the figurehead, and she seemed to straighten a little, which was no mean feat for a figure permanently tilted at 45 degrees. Her carved face wore a fearsome expression, but as she spoke, and was spoken to, the forced scowl seemed to fade away. "Nanny, wonderful, pleased to meet you. The figurehead who just climbed off the ship, is she going to be a danger to anyone?" "No, she can find her own coven eggs," said Nanny. "Hags," said Alex, alarmed. "Witches," said Poppy. "Right." She had a very vague recollection that the Cutty Starks figurehead was a witch from a Rabbie Burns poem, which would definitely explain the way that Nanny spoke, like a Rabbie Burns poem. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that if we were all in the UK, this would make a lot of sense to us because we would know the references the same way that, like, in Land of Stories, we understand that outside of the New York City Public Library, there are those giant lions. Remember how the lions came to life in the Land of Stories? We all have seen pictures of the lions or been there, depending on who you are. We all know that because it's a standard thing. So this must be like a thing that they know of, because she seems to be saying this like it's super obvious, but I have no idea who Rabbie Burns is, the poet, I assume. Whatever. Poppy had never actually heard a Scottish person talk like this in her life. "All right, yes, you're a witch, aren't you?" Wood creaked as the figurehead smiled. "Aye, lassie, talking you taking kid. Did you do this?" "No, I really did not," said Poppy. "Did you? Well, have you? Have we ever come to life afore? Nah, lassie, it's just his a little will. There was a time at sea, his was beheaded by a storm. I'm glad it wasn't alive for that." Robert Burns? Oh, they're spelling it Rabbie Burns, Rabbie. That must be like a nickname for it. Thank you, Claire. It's a statue. Claire just walked in. Claire, it's a statue, like a Scottish old statue that has come to life, and they write it in dialect, like, so it's very hard to read. It's a nickname. Okay, there you go. So, you remember who you were or who you are? Said Poppy. The figurehead nodded. All of them nodded. "Oh, yes, young lady," said the one who'd addressed her first. "I am William Gladstone, at your service." He bowed his head, which was pretty much the only part of him that was able to bow. "William Pitt, ma'am," said a ginger figure with horrible glass eyes. He ceased in 1796. All right, there you go. "Benjamin Disraeli, Earl of Beaconsfield," said a figure with a little soul patch beard, and Poppy heard a grumbling from Gladstone when that one introduced himself. "Earl of Beaconsfield," he mimicked. "Least I have arms," he added more loudly, waving his limbs at Disraeli. "Gentlemen, please. This is no place for politics," said an American accent. This is even better. "Gentlemen, please. This is no place for politics," said an American accent, and Poppy was somehow unsurprised that voice belonged to Abraham Lincoln. "People put weird stuff on their ship, I guess," Alex muttered. Oh, sorry, that was supposed to be in Alex's voice, whatever. Yeah. You're telling me, a gold-painted cherub with no legs said. This is all rather fascinating, said Poppy, but what I'd like to know is why you're all, sentient right now. The figureheads all glanced around at each other with much creaking and made vague noises that indicated they really didn't know. One figure who was a little bit more than a bust being the word that definitely came to mind when you looked at her, rattled off something in a language that Poppy didn't have any hope of understanding. So, I'm sorry, she said, and another figurehead, this one in the style of a Roman soldier, seemed to be speaking what was Latin. He says, that was Pitt talking now, that she speaks a heathen dialect of the Celts, but he believes that she's talking about some sort of sorcery. Well, yes, we do know that, said Poppy impatiently, and the Celtic woman glared at her and rattled off something that was unmistakably an insult, no matter what language it was in. Alex wandered over to one of the information boards. I do think she's Boudica, he said, and the woman nodded proudly. An honor to meet you, said Poppy, which seemed to please her. Do you know who did the sorcery? Because it definitely wasn't me, she added firmly. No, Poppy, said a familiar and yet wholly surprising voice from the top of the stairs. There was a terrible creak as the figureheads turned to look at her. And that is the frightening thing. Poppy gaped at the elegantly dressed figure standing there and said, Fiona? The youngest member of Iris's coven nodded, her perfectly styled hair barely moving with her. She always looked like the epitome of North London middle-class affluence, all discreet highlights and expensively casual clothes. Her idea of a bright color was teal, and her most whimsical accessory was a muslin scarf printed with giraffes. Her children wore color-coordinated outfits that never got grubby and never got wrinkled, and refined sugar did not pass through their lips. Fiona was 100% the mum at the school gates who said things like, well, I would never let my child do that, and had them speaking in Mandarin by age 4. Poppy was terrified of her. She cleared her throat. Yeah, hey, what do you mean that that's the frightening thing? Fiona began descending the stairs. I mean that if you had done it, you could undo it. Or we could, at least. But I have no idea what is causing this. I just felt it. I was at an event at the Trafalgar Tavern, you know. She waved her hand vaguely towards the left. You just happened to be a few hundred meters away, said Alex, and he had his hands in his pockets and was regarding Fiona with a slightly cocked head. There was a creak as Nanny, the figurehead, leaned forward. Why is this tavern? And I can't with Nanny. An austere lady in black on the left replied disapprovingly, Oh no, let's not speak of taverns. A great amount of ill comes from the dependence on drinking. Wish, Elizabeth Fry, woman, snapped Nanny. We can get there anyway. But the figurehead on the mask got up and walked away, said Poppy. Well, she hobbled away. She has a weird shape. Pure weird shape. Kick-ass lassie legs done there, said Nanny, scowling at Poppy. We are unfortunately confined, said a lady who might have been Florence Nightingale for all she knew, by means of metal bolts and, pole arrangement. We got metal poles up our arses, said the large, rough-looking figure beside Nanny. Yes, quite that, Florence said, her painted cheeks appearing to pinken just a little more. Aye, she's a living figure, aye, said Nanny. We're just old lumps of wood. If you're quite finished, Fiona said, and she reached the bottom of the stairs now. If you must know, I was at a fundraiser for children's literacy charity. She cocked an eyebrow at Elizabeth Fry, who gave a shrug as if to say that this might just be an acceptable reason to return to a tavern. You got changed quick, said Poppy, eyeing Fiona's elegant evening dress. She'd been wearing expensive casual jeans and a Brayton top the last time Poppy saw her in Highgate. Fiona rolled her eyes. Number 1, Poppy, I have 4 children. I can do everything faster. Number 2, I am a witch. She glanced at Alex, and for the first time since Poppy had met her, appeared to somewhat hesitate. Does he... Yes, indeed I do know that Poppy is a witch, said Alex, sauntering back to Poppy's side. I helped her banish a ghost mummy. Well, you held the candle, Poppy said, which you couldn't have done without. It was 1,000 years old, Alex added. The mummy, not the candle. The candle wasn't 1,000 years old. And the candle was diptyque, Alex explained. I could have done without the candle, Poppy said, flashing a smile at Fiona to let her know she was both adult and a competent witch. Then why did you make me carry it? It was just easier with the candle, Poppy snapped. You see, I helped. We met earlier, he said to Fiona. This isn't Saint Laurent. She cast a very practiced eye over his handsome blue suit. No? Savile Row, then? Alex sighed, conceding the point. All right, you've got me. I is a brawny Jimmy, sighed Nanny. I don't really know what that means, but I'm going to take it as a compliment. Alex said, now, ladies, gentlemen, and those of you who choose not to define, there are a couple of important questions here. Wait, why are you asking the questions? Said Poppy. Because you're not asking them, he replied with annoyed perspicacity. Perspicacity. That's a hard word to say. Annoying perspicacity. And what questions exactly are these? Fiona said. Well, firstly, do you know who did the spell that brought you all to life? The figureheads glanced around at each other with the unnerving creaking sound again. Ah, well, you're the witch, Nanny. No, sorry, wrong voice. Boop. Back it up. Well, you're the witch, Nanny, said Florence Nightingale. But dinner can. Just heard a voice telling me I had time to wake up. The others nodded and murmured versions of the same thing. Was it a male voice? Female? I couldn't say. I tell you things, though. 'Twasn't a Sasquatch. So it wasn't a Sassenach. Sassenach? Queried the Roman soldier. English, said Fiona. Alex grinned. You speak Scots, or was that a line from Outlander? I'm a witch, young man. That's all you need to know about me, said Fiona in tones so freezing that Poppy was in no doubt whatsoever that the answer definitely was that it was from Outlander. Whoever did this was... Some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community experience. I'm sure they were, and I'm sure it was someone saying that they like this book. Thanks, TikTok, for protecting all of us from the enjoyment of books. Whoever did this was English, given that we're in London. It didn't really narrow it down very much, does it? Poppy knew that she already ruled out Iris and Sylvia. There was simply no reason for them to have done this, and besides, they'd surely have given her a heads up if they were going to. Well, who else even is there? She asked. Well, there's Maggie Silver, but you don't see her much out and about these days. Lettice Lane, maybe, but she doesn't usually go far from Limehouse. Could be the Essex lot, and they generally don't know if there's witching in town. I could call around, I suppose. Can you undo it if you don't know who did it? Asked Alex. Fiona shook her hair back. Oh, quite probably, she said, because that brings me to my next question. Do you, he addressed the figureheads, want to be undone? Do you want to go back to how you were? Back to being made out of wood, said Nanny. Gladstone was always a blockhead, Disraeli said wappishly. Gentlemen, please, said Florence Nightingale. This is truly like being on something, muttered Alex to himself, and then louder he said, well, I'll give you a moment to think about it. He turned away from them all as a murmuring grew amongst the figureheads. We'll let them think about it, will we? Said Fiona in what Poppy imagined was the tone she used with her children if they dared to misbehave. Well, it's only fair, said Alex. They might like being like this, and then we're condemning them to a life being made of wood again. He rubbed his forehead. I really can't believe I'm having this conversation. He's right, though, said Poppy. We should at least ask for consent. Yes, consent is sexy. Alex grinned at her, and right then consent really wasn't the only thing that was sexy. And if they don't give consent? Alex shrugged. What's the worst that could happen? The museum gets a really cool new exhibit. Poppy considered this for a second. I mean, it would liven things up a bit. Are you absolutely mad? Hissed Fiona. We're not leaving enchanted figureheads here just to talk to anyone. Why not? Said Poppy. Would have made my school trips a lot more interesting. Oh, yags, called Nanny to the three of them, and they turned. We had decided. Poppy's heart raced a little. And none of us wants to spend the rest of our lives made of wood being keened by strangers. With metal poles up our bums, said the hunter beside her. Aye, with metal poles up our bums. Change us back if you please. Poppy glanced at Fiona, who looked at a touch smug at this. Are you really sure? She asked the figureheads. Aye, lassie, we're never meant to be real. Fiona nodded. I guess I do have a restoration... Oh, sorry, Fiona nodded. No, I do have a restoration spell, she said, and added quickly, please don't tell the children that I can clean up their messes with magic, but I really would like to know who did this in the first place. We can't tell ya, said Nanny. Goodbye, Yags. One wooden eyelid creaked as she winked at Alex. Goodbye, you brawny Jimmy. To Poppy's surprise, a flush of color stained Alex's cheeks. Ouch, you ma thing. They'll be freshen me on the ship. She's a living figurehead, you keen? She'll ne'er keen she's made of wood. You might want to gang after a folk starting a cantrip. Cantrip? Magic, said Fiona. She's right. I'll sort this lot out and you go after the other one. I'll help you with this first, said Poppy. It wasn't that she didn't trust Fiona so much as she didn't trust her not to take all the credit. Suit yourself. Now, Fiona touched the locket around her neck with one hand, and with the other she touched her thumb to her wedding ring. You, Alex, must be quiet. Poppy, focus and repeat after me. What is broken, be mended. What is enchanted, be restored. Let order prevail. You figureheads who move and speak, be you restored to wood. Poppy ran her hand through her hair and dully repeated this, pushing all the force of her will into those words. She stared hard at Nanny, whose gaze dulled, lost focus, and whose animated face returned to wood. You figureheads who... That's it, I think, said Fiona, touching her arm, and then Poppy blinked and stood back and realized that the other witch was right. All the figureheads were inanimate again, painted eyes or not. Or, in the case of Mr. Pitt, glass eyes stared blankly at them. The hands that had been frozen reaching out and stayed that way. Only the horsetail in Nanny's hand fluttered slightly before it then stilled. Although, was it Poppy's imagination, or did the carved lips smile up a bit more than they had before? Are you sure that's it? Said Alex, and Fiona peered up at the crack in the glass, which had vanished now. Yes, all done. Spit spot, she said, and settled the locket back in place. Poppy realized she'd never let slip that it was a magic talisman. I've got to go back to my event before they wonder where I've gone. Do you need any help getting the guests back in, Poppy? I'll do it, said Alex, and he gave a cocky grin. Charming people is indeed my specialty. Well, it's nice that you do have something for yourself, said Fiona as Alex jogged away up the steps. Poppy couldn't help watching him go. He is definitely easy on the eyes, Fiona said, and Poppy felt her cheeks heating. Well, yes, no, he's not, we're not, it's not an actual date, she sputtered out. Oh no, said Fiona. I saw the way he looks at you, Pops. Just, be careful, all right? Poppy tore her eyes away from Alex as he exited the glass dome. What do you mean? How much did Fiona know about her disastrous dating history anyway? I mean, sweetheart, the handsome ones are always trouble. Look at him. He could have any girl he wants, and honestly probably has. Not that you aren't captivating, but I wouldn't go falling for a man who'd never love anyone as much as he loves himself. And that was the problem. Alex was gorgeous, and boy did he know it. She could see it in the way he moved, in the way he smiled at people. Ordinary people didn't walk around as if they were being awarded points 10 out of 10 for sexiness. Alex clearly expected full marks from all the judges every time he smiled. Charming people is my specialty, she heard in her mind. Irritated, Poppy said, And just how do you know that he loves himself? Fiona shrugged. Well, I've got eyes, that's how. Now tell me honestly, do you have any idea how this, she waved at the still figureheads, actually happened? No, I told you, said Poppy, somehow reduced to the role of a sulking child in the face of Fiona's condescension. I didn't do it. I didn't do anything. Fiona frowned. You do cause chaos wherever you go, is all I'm saying. All right, all right. The zombie ghost you banished, what happened there anyway? It was a mummy ghost, Poppy corrected. I just exorcised it. I've done it loads. It was a stubborn one, but I did it. And there were no complications. It's just that something has felt off all day this week, and I can't quite put my finger on it. Almost as if... She trailed off, frowning. Oh, Poppy said guiltily. Did Did Iris mention the pendant? What pendant? Said Fiona patiently. I accidentally cursed a pendant in the shop, but we got it back and it's been destroyed now. Destroyed? Poppy, did you remove the curse from it before? You did remove the curse from it before you destroyed it, didn't you? A coldness crept through Poppy's veins. Well, I mean, we didn't destroy it, she said, and noise from the above heralded the guests beginning to come back inside the glass dome. Lowering her voice, she continued with, is that bad? It's already done its cursing, right? Fiona pressed both of her hands together and looked as if she was silently counting to 10. Is it bad? She said. Poppy, you trail chaos wherever you go, but you have to admit that a set of bloody ship's figureheads coming to life for no good reason when you just happen to be near is a bit of a coincidence. What kind of curse did you put on it anyway? In a very small voice, this time actually feeling like she might deserve to be spoken to this way, Poppy said, I don't know. You don't know? I was a bit drunk, whispered Poppy. Fiona pressed her hands to her eyes, heedless of her tasteful makeup. Drunk, she said, and Poppy definitely had flashbacks to her teen years when the church ghosts egged her on try the other kinds of spirits there were. But I went after to clean up the mess, she said hopefully. A mess like this? Fiona said, sweeping her hands at the figureheads and incidentally at Alex, who was jogging down the stairs again. He gave her a thumbs up, smiling, as behind him the guests started to come back in. He is really easy on the eyes, she thought to herself. I'll fix it, okay? Poppy said, moving off to meet Alex before her mother could find her. We've got to go and find the other nanny. Bye. Thanks for your help. Okay, bye now. What on earth was that about? Said Alex as she hustled him away. Nothing. It doesn't matter. Do you have your keys? Because we have to get to the car. Uh-oh. So maybe the curse just like flew out into everything? No good. No good can come of that. None whatsoever. Well. Well. Uh-oh, indeed. Uh-oh, indeed. You sound like Lala from Teletubbies when you say, uh-oh, really? I've never heard it. Or maybe just clean pop. Yeah, maybe it's just like an aura around her or something now. I don't know. All right, so just a reminder, we have Roll for Slime tomorrow. If you haven't chosen a day yet, tomorrow still has a couple of available spots. I'd love to get through everyone. The first round of Advent calendars is going to start to mail out probably Friday. All good stuff there. I can't think of anything else interesting to tell you all, so I will see you on the flip side. We will not have a live this afternoon because I will be at that event, but we will of course have 2 tomorrow, which is great. I will report back if we get any info on the feedback that I am giving Patreon based on all of your feedback, etc. and so on. Don't forget, the 17th is our next slime class, so make sure you get your ingredients for that and we will have class. If you were looking for any of the old classes, we now have a playlist for that, which is great. I think that's it. All right, have a great day, you guys.